confidence was enough, why all the panic? So let's talk. They say Tinubu will win before 12 noon, but something is not adding up. We're being told Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win the next election. Not just win, but before 12 noon. Every member of the All Progressive Congress, except the winner, Tinubu, seems very relaxed and confident. They speak with so much confidence, they argue with so much confidence. But the actions are telling a completely different story. The more governors defect to APC, the more the system starts behaving like it is preparing for something else entirely. They are commissioning projects. Even boreholes are now receiving presidential level commissioning. And then some supporters are arguing that these are not ordinary boreholes, they are water projects. And then we ask, is it only water? Or is it still the same water from the same ground Nigerians have always dug for themselves? Let us leave that one there for now. We are watching a government that is doing everything at once. They are lobbying, sending delegates, holding meetings, they are shaking international hands. They are even standing beside kings and queens. They are making promises abroad. They are even reviving industries in the UK, while the same industry here in Nigeria is struggling to breathe. I mean, this administration is doing just too much to stay afloat. They have prayed in Nigeria, they have prayed abroad. And let's not forget, everyone is even switching. Agbada and caps everywhere. Everyone is seeing the light. State governors are defecting like it is a survival strategy. It is now like buy one get two free bargain. Defect and get more allocations. I mean, Tinubu has brought in the best bargaining power. Independent institutions are all part of the ruling party. They've even kept money aside for court cases. Victory, they say, is guaranteed. But why are we budgeting for dispute? And then someone comes to tell you that Tinubu will win. Tinubu will win easily. My question is simple. Please, does Tinubu himself know about this? Does he know he's going to win? Because from everything we are seeing, the actions, the movements, the urgency, it looks like Tinubu is the only person in his camp who understands something his supporters are refusing to admit. Because from what we are seeing, it is a system trying to close all gaps, influence every outcome, and still there is anxiety. They have talked to the media, they've talked to international bodies, traditional rulers, institutions, and at this point, the only people they haven't fully convinced are Nigerians themselves. And that is where the problem really lies. Tinubu, to me, looks like the only one in his camp who truly understands the strength of his opponent. And sometimes, their awareness does not really produce confidence. It produces caution. The body language, the urgency, the over-preparedness. It doesn't look like a man who is trying to test himself. It looks like a man who is trying to avoid uncertainty. They say momentum is the leader's best friend, not followers. Momentum, they say. But what we are seeing here is different. Supporters are screaming win. Tinubu is checking angles. And momentum is not just measured by what supporters are echoing, but what the leader is projecting. And right now, the projection is not momentum. Let me put it this way. Let me bring in a familiar Bible story. In the case of Moses, his hands had to remain up for victory. But at a point, he became very weak, and his followers had to wage his hands for them to win the battle. That was support, that was awareness, that was clarity of what they needed. But here is where the difference lies with Tinubu. His supporters believe his hands are already up. They believe everything is under control. They believe victory is already secured. But in reality, the signals coming from Tinubu suggest something else entirely. Tinubu is saying my hands are not fully up, but his followers cannot see it. And that creates a problem because you can only support someone who you recognize needs support. And that right there remains the gray area of this administration, the gap between perception and reality. It is the truth at a time. Take care and have a nice day.